Hey Collider, here at Limited to One Record Shop in New York City. I'm here with the star of Emily in Paris, Ashley Park.
And I'm going on the record with Collider.
So Ashley, we looked around a bit and we found 1989 by Taylor Swift. You were saying that this is the first ever vinyl you ever had.
Yeah, the original, and so that's why I'm gonna probably steal this at the end of the day because I don't have Taylor's
Of course,
version.
of course.
But yeah, when I first got my first record player and vinyl, I think I was gifted the Taylor Swift 1989 album. This is what I listened to every day walking through New York City. It was like when I first moved here and first was auditioning for Broadway, and I would listen to Welcome to New York and Blank Space and Style and be living my life.
Now, you saw her at the Grammys, right?
Oh yeah, I was in the revival of The King and I on Broadway at Lincoln Center Theater, and our Broadway cast recording was nominated for a Grammy that year, and usually the Broadway category isn't in the main ceremony, but it was the same year that Hamilton was nominated, and so we got to be live during the main ceremony, and I got to watch a lot of performances that year.
Now, the next one we have it's a Wagner album, more classical, but you started listening to classical music at a young age, and that's what got you into music, right?
Yeah, I started piano lessons when I get to hold this?
Of course.
They're very intimidating, but I don't think I ever had this particular album, but I started playing piano when I was 5 years old, and I think I practiced every day for at least an hour or two until I was 18. It was the Suzuki method, and so the Suzuki method is that you have to listen to the music that you're learning just as much as you practice every day, and I think that's I'm realizing now how I learn most things.
Really?
Like musically throughout the years and stuff like that. If I listen to it, it feels like it's really embedded in me.
Who are some of your favorite artists in the classical genre?
Oh my God, artists, I love it. Composer-wise, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Chopin, I loved playing. Beethoven, I loved playing. I remember that because I was a Michigan state champion when I was in 5th grade or something, but I remember watching the movie Amadeus, and I was like, let me imitate how he does and let me like sing along when I'm playing, and people are gonna think I'm like a genius. And I truly think that I punked people into, like, that's why I was like winning awards and stuff, because I would go in there and just like put on this whole act, and people were like, she's a genius like child. I guess that's where acting was born for me. I was like, let me just trick everybody.
I know another one of your favorite artists is Celine Dion as well.
I just loved so much how she just sings with her entire soul and like every fiber and pore of her being, and I think that a lot of the singing that I do or that I like to do is like very emotional based, and I think that that's where I learned that.
Were you like a kid in the bathroom mirror pretending to be Celine Dion?
No, I would just like, I remember my poor little sister would, every time we were in the car, I would just blast it and I would just like belt along to it for many years. I do think that might be the one CD I broke. Really? I listened to it that much, yeah. One of the probably the most joyful moments of my life was, it was the week before the pandemic in New York, and she was doing a concert in Brooklyn. I went with Michael Urie and Malik and two of the cast members of a play I just did on Broadway, and we like wore all this like Celine Dion merch and everything and put like glitter on our face, and I mean she had like drones during My Heart Will Go On, like she sang all of her greatest hits, and that was truly the most euphoric moment ever. And then it was pandemic, and the whole pandemic we were like, remember Celine?
Speaking of iconic, we came across a familiar face on this next album. I don't know if you recognize it, but
it's a really inconspicuous album. It's really hard to find. During this photo shoot, I just don't think I read the fine print. I didn't understand. I thought we were just taking like press photos, and then all of a sudden the poster is like this photo that we took, and I had no idea that photo shoot was to be like the cover art for this Broadway musical. But that was a real pinch me moment to see this around town. Should I take, wait, is this?
Yeah, this is a gift from Collider. How's that?
Oh my gosh, this is a real throwback. And especially being in New York again.
Do you have a favorite song that you think about?
You know what's funny is if any song comes on shuffle, or if it like comes on the radio and I hear the opening chords of this, I go into immediate panic. Kate Rockwell singing Sexy is just my favorite. I remember the first time I saw that number and I was like, this is so fun. But I really loved singing What's Wrong With Me It's one of those songs that usually when you're doing a show for that long, 8 times a week, sometimes you go through different phases of being nervous or getting in your head or like maybe not feeling up to it that day. That was a song that I really felt like therapy to sing every single night, and I really enjoyed doing that. And it was also one of the only songs that, because so much of the show changed as we developed it.
Okay.
And that was such a core of that character, and it was really it's the first ballad of the show where it really opens up the audience's heart a bit, and it was one of the only songs that truly didn't change at all from when I auditioned to then, and I think it's because it was just such the core of the heart of what it feels like to be not only an insecure high schooler, but just a human in general.
I know Broadway is kind of a full circle for you as well, because I know you went to Broadway at a young age. That kind of really inspired
Oh my
you.
God, I'm wearing pink
that.
today. Sorry. I remember
it
after
blends
the
in.
show, I was like, I can't wear pink for at least a year or two, but I look at me.
You were inspired by Broadway plays and musicals at a young age, right?
Oh yeah, I think I didn't even know really what musical theater was, or I had no access to really understanding Broadway. But I remember in middle school, because I always loved singing and dancing, I followed some of my like choir friends in middle school to the community theater. I think it was Young People's Theater. I just remember being so entranced by, oh, these are all the things I like, and I love that in musicals, you know, done in its purest form, you know, characters sing songs when they can no longer express what they're feeling just by words alone. And that's like the magic of musicals. And I think that was like a big thesis for me when we had my character in Emily in Paris, Mindy, start singing, was I really wanted it to feel like, and we do that with so many of the numbers, especially like the original songs that we've done. It was important to me that the lyrics of the song and whatever the situation was, like the story was really propelled forward, and it was kind of helping the character either be vulnerable in a way or open up in some way. I mean, my entire CD collection is all classical music and then Broadway cast recordings.
Do you remember your first show you ever saw on Broadway?
Yeah, I was a Make-A-Wish kid. I had cancer in high school, and so when I got my wish granted, my wish was to come see a Broadway show for the first time and come to New York for the first time. We watched The Lion King, Spring Awakening, Wicked, and A Chorus Line.
Wow.
Which was just, and I remember that's the first time, because for me, musical theater was always just something I loved to do. It's like a hobby and extracurricular, and then that's when I really realized, wait, like there's a job out there where I get to do this like 8 times a week. I just get to do what I love. So I think that's what really opened everything up for me.
So next one we have is Blackpink.
Yes.
The album. And I know you picked this one because you think it most aligns with your character in Emily in Paris, Mindy.
Oh yes, I think that what I listen to on set to get in the mood for Mindy is like Little Mix, Blackpink, and also, especially when I need to get hyped up, and also Angèle, I listen to a lot, season 1, but this album and also Little Mix is one of their albums, is very just like kind of power driven and like not only just girl power, but very just feeling confident in yourself, finding your own voice again. You can dance to it, and there's a good beat to it, and I also just love the feeling of, I think for me, I associate my experience with Emily in Paris being like the ultimate girl group kind of thing with Lily Collins, in terms of just their camaraderie and their real support of each other, and that I think like the Spice Girls walked so that like all of these other girl groups could run, and like Little Mix, and I think that definitely Mindy and Emily listen to all of the girl groups when they need to be pumped up in the morning.
Will we potentially get a duet with you and Lily covering maybe a Blackpink?
Ask Lily. I don't think I think Lily is supportive of literally anything I ever sing, but yeah, make her do it.
Netflix, we have to make that happen. Now, the final one we have is this iconic one right here, Wicked.
One of my favorite Broadway cast recordings of all time. This one probably broke in my car too after listening to it so much.
And I know you basically taught not the entire, but the Emily in Paris
My
crew,
hair and makeup team, yeah.
all about it, because they were not familiar with Wicked or musical theater in general.
Yeah, that's what's so funny is, because Emily in Paris was really my first big TV and film or on-screen job outside of Broadway, and my first time also living abroad. And so I just remember the only thing I was used to talking about for all of my 20s was Broadway musicals. Like that's what my entire community, all my friends were. And so going there, and Carol and Julien, who do my hair and makeup, and our team there, nobody knew any musicals. Like musical theater is not as prevalent in France. And so I remember, this is way before like the movie was coming about or anything, and this was just I would give them dissertations as we were getting ready every day on different musicals. I'd be like, okay, so this is the plot of Seussical. So there's Horton the elephant, and then they sing this song, and this was a big one for me. And I have to like recall the different questions that they asked, but I was like, no, Dr. Dillamond was taken, like this is what happened. Fiyero is the scarecrow, like spoiler, but like, you know, like, like I just remember, and they knew the story of Wizard of Oz, but they didn't quite understand, first of all, why people like sing and dance on stage. Yeah. Wait, let's recreate it. Look, you're in white.
Which side am I? No, so you.
Oh yeah.
So we've gone from your early years all the way to now, kind of all the musical inspirations. So I want to finish up by a question that we ask everybody at the end. Who is one artist that you haven't seen live that you would like to see?
I mean, I talked about, if I hadn't seen Celine Dion, absolutely Celine Dion.
Sure.
Probably Taylor Swift. I don't think because I only saw her perform at the Grammys or in different, not like her own concert.
So you'd like to see a full show?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. Oh, and Blackpink too. I think me and Lily were supposed to go to their performance in Paris, and we were filming that day, so we ended up not being able to go. But I would have loved to go. I think for me, going to concerts, it's about who you go with. So
yes.
I'm always down to go to anything, really. Make sure to watch Emily in Paris Season 5 on Netflix, streaming now.